everybody, Svend here. We're going to be tying up the Svend Leech. We're going to be using this is a Moonlit slotted tungsten bead in the metallic blue. And so I'm basing this fly off of this blue metallic bead. We have a ML L56 in the vise. This is a size 8. And we are using some Nano Silk here. This is 12-aught, and we are talking about using a Nor Vise bobbin for the first time. So wish me luck. I'm pretty excited. I've never tried one of these, and so we'll see if they live up to the hype. But we'll start our thread right here behind the tungsten bead, building up a nice little dam to kind of keep that in place so that we don't have to worry about it losing its seat later. And the only con I have about Nano Silk, you're never going to hear me talk negative about it, except for I had to do what, 25 wraps there to get that thread dam up, because it just does not build bulk. So you could consider that a con, or you can consider that a pro. I consider it a pro. But we have the bead secured now at this point. I'm going to advance my thread, or Nano Silk, back to the bend of the hook, and we're going to tie in our tail at this point. So for our tail and our Marabou throughout this whole fly, we've got some Nature Spirit. This is a Fish Hunter Marabou. This is silver done. It's got UV properties, and I've already used the one side of this feather. But what we're going to do is, I like a really sparse tail, and you can see those tips right there. That is the tail we want. Now, if you want, you can tie it in without doing this. I'm just going to snip that so it's not in my way, and we're going to measure out. So there's one shank length, and there's two. So I'm going to do about between 1 3/4 and 2. If you're into mathematics, that'd be a 1.83 inches. So that's or 1.83 times the length of the shank, and that is very critical onto how many fish you're going to catch. So try and get that exact. Now we'll snip out our excess, and we'll go ahead and secure those fibers and really crank down. So you can see right there, this tail is very sparse, and there's a reason behind that. Nano Silk not taking up much bulk, so we have a very sparse tail. Now we are going to prep a double loop, and so go up and over and secure that here at the rear of the hook shank. And then I will be using my favorite double loop tool. This is by Stomfo, and we'll go ahead and just place that and set it out to the side, out of our way. Now for the body of this, we've got our Semperfly ice stub, and since we have on a metallic blue, we are going to be using this blue, and I will basically take a small chunk of it, dub it up my thread, and create a loose body. I don't want it to be super tight, but I also don't want it to be, I think the term is a snake coiling up the thread. You don't want to have it noodle up on you. But we'll start here at the rear, and just with touching wraps, cover up all that white we see. So this creates a nice blue underbody matching our tungsten bead, and blue seems to be the new color to fish with. I've heard really good things. I haven't had a chance this winter to fish these yet, but I am pretty excited for the ice to melt in 2 to 4 months for how much we have here in Utah. So we've got a nice ice stub body in blue, and with that is secured. Now what we are going to do, the reason why I saved the rest of this feather, is on the Svend Leech we use a Marabou hackle. And so we are going to grab these tips here, and you can see how long this Fish Hunter stuff is. It's just unreal long, but all I want are these tips here. And so we will take this over and cut, leaving about a 1/4 inch exposed, and the overall length of these is about the length of the fly, and that is just about perfect. Now, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but the reason why I prefer Nano Silk when doing this is most of my dub loops are using a stainless steel wire. Now this is not stainless steel wire. We're not going to counter rib it. but I think that by using 2 strands of Nano Silk, not splitting the thread, I believe this is just as durable, if not more durable, than some fine wires. And so we were basically spreading that out, positioning them. I have tension on there, and I'll go ahead and start spinning slowly. But since I've got this Stonfo tool, I'll speed it up, and we'll really crank that because I want them to be super tight so that those Marabou are not going to come undone. I might argue that I'm over twisting that, but to me it's just right. Now, if you've never done a Marabou dub loop before, congratulations, this is going to be a lot of fun. But you can see I'm stroking those fibers, they are not coming out, and I know it's tight enough. And so I'll go ahead and begin to palmer this, making sure to get that thread out of my way. I could have done that a little bit closer to the body of the fly. And now I'm basically making sure that this Marabou is going backwards, and I'm going to palmer this up the fly, almost like you're ribbing it, but similar to what you do with a woolly bugger with your hackle. But I really want to make sure to get a little bit, you don't want it to be super dense, so we're not doing touching wraps because I'd like that blue to shine through. And then as I get up here to right behind the bead, I'm going to make sure to do a full wrap plus a little bit more so that we got a nice little head on that. And we'll go ahead and secure that with 2 wraps and then 1 in front, and make sure we've got it on there nice and tight, give it a little snug twist, and then we can snip that out. And then comes time for the real good cinch wrap there, and then we'll do 1 in front of that fluff. And take a little bit more of this ice stub, just a little bit, maybe 3 strands, 4 strands. Try to keep them in your hand so that you didn't you know, lose it on your bench or anything. And then we'll advance that up, do a small little blue collar to hide a little bit of our fluff and blend it into that and cause that Marabou to go backwards so that every time we cast we know it's prepared and ready to go. And we'll go ahead and whip finish it this time with a 3-turn whip finish. I will cut out my thread and pass that bobbin, and then I'm just going to take a little bit of UV resin, and I do this with most of my slotted nymphs and beads, is I drop it in the slot there and let it sit down in, and so that it's basically curing all levels to the shank. And that right there is the I guess we could maybe call that the Moonlit Blues Svend Leech, I'm not sure, but I really like how that turned out. And we got a couple stragglers, you can go ahead and snip those out as you see fit, and fish it up. The color combinations for this particular leech are endless. Marabou comes in 1,000 different colors, and it seems like ice stub comes in a ton of different colors, and you can get plenty of hooks. So go ahead and tie them up, fish them, and hopefully they pierce some lips.